Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, we back. We are back. Oh gosh, sorry, I do have pants on. I have shorts. Okay, hello again. Forgive us, I have shorts on. If anybody is looking at me. Hola. I know, guys. We are like.
We try to get cute and be outside, but I guess that didn't really
work. Our
so.
patio is like terrible. The light. Okay, so it's one of those days you have a great light, right? And then everything just stopped. But anyway, hello. So we are going to delete the other one because people are like still there right now. So I don't know how to delete, but he will delete it. So people are not staying there.
All right.
It's right there.
I got it. I'm right there. I'm looking.
All right, guys. So we are here. Can you guys see us now? And I'm the tall one today. Boom. Christian is the short one. It's nice to be tall. And is it nice to be short?
No.
Hey, be nice.
Because I'm tall.
Okay. Do you know how to even do it?
I don't know.
No, it's right here. That's what I was trying to show you. Guys, we are still here. You go here and then I don't know what to do. Do you do edit?
I don't know, maybe. Edit.
And then delete somewhere. Oh, make it private. Right there. Just make it private for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can make it for members. Should we start a membership thing?
Okay, guys. Yeah, we are here. Sorry, guys. Baby boy is doing well. He is sleeping. I don't know if you guys can see him. Wait. Can you guys see him right there? Yeah, there you go. So he's sleeping. So we decided to jump on here and do live real quick.
Hi,
hello. Okay, so
hi, Miss
Tracy's here.
Philomen,
Just your Jamaican queen.
Bernice Frimpong is back.
Hello, Bernice.
Hi, Caroline.
You popped up on my email. What's the topic?
Okay. Our topic is the big news right now. We're talking Piers Morgan
and Meghan
stepping down from Good Morning England or whatever his thing is.
That's not why we're here. We are here because of Meghan.
Yes.
Yes.
But it hit the fan today. So we're going to be talking about that. Anastasia has some very particular views on this whole thing. I'll admit that my wife is much more in tune with this, but we've been talking a lot about it. And so we're curious to see what you guys think about it. But we want to jump in and offer hopefully something that's of interest and engaging.
Yes. So. Yes. But can you guys hear us well? Because I feel like I'm so used to the microphone.
Yeah. I know. I think everyone is everyone good? I mean, this is probably so much better than what we had before. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Letitia. Actually, one of Christian's parishioners, our parishioner gave me this.
Is that it?
Yeah, so it's a dress, and it's like one of those big, I forgot how we say it in Ghana, but you know, like overall, like a Sienna shit. Yeah, and then it came with a head wrap. Okay, they could hear us. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so the reason why we are here today, we received so many messages on our Instagram, as well as our YouTube. You know, people were sending us messages about what do we think about the whole thing going on with Meghan and her husband. You guys all know Meghan Markle and her husband Harry. And then so many people have their own thing about what is going on. So we decided, instead of responding to so many people, just like how we respond to so many people about find me a white man, we will do, that's a whole different topic. But anyway, so we are here to just kind of talk about it and just so everybody can go on our YouTube and see our response. So we are not constantly like copying and pasting. All right, babe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep on looking at the
so Christian is going to look
and I'll let you
then
know.
Respond. Okay. So what do we think about it? This is how I, Anastasia Anderson, thought about it. So I felt like back in the day, everybody was bashing her. Everybody was talking about how she, you know, some people were actually really happy that they have a Black woman at the palace, you know, princess dream coming true. Anybody can be a princess. Some people were really excited about that. But then other people were like, oh, a black woman at the palace. I mean, it's going to be bad because the British people don't like black people at the palace. It's like, you know, they have their own people, whatever. Okay. Fast forward, we started hearing all these rumors about Meghan made Harry's brother's wife, I forgot her name, Kate, cry because of their wedding dress or all this situation. And then Meghan and her husband decided to leave. We all know, we're not going to tell you the whole story. So if you guys want to see their story,
just assume that everyone's caught up.
Yeah, so you all caught up.
Get right into the meat of it.
Yes, babe. Let's do it. All right, so I'm getting into it. All right, so when she came out and did her interview 2 days ago, so many people were talking about it. And then I had my opinion. And the reason why I had my opinion was because I was having a conversation with some of my friends and also some of our Instagram people. And what I'm saying, what I came up with and what I thought is that if someone comes out, okay, first I'm going to go to the race first, and then we could talk about the mental health situation first, because I heard more about the race the first day and then the mental health the second day. So I had two different opinions. If a black woman comes out dating a white man, and then she comes out and say that a lot of the man's family members or friends or whatever it is that she was around are really treating her badly. And then some of us saw those tabloids, like they were saying so many bad things about her. So she came out to correct us, for us to find out what was really going on. And then people were still bashing her that she basically did this to herself. And I just feel like, as a black woman, I just feel like we just have to listen. Like when someone comes up, especially if the husband is white and he's actually supporting her. Now, it's different if she had come by herself. Even that, we still listen, but we also probably would say, let's do investigation. But Rashawn is looking nervous. Are you looking nervous?
Charles, I've heard everything she's saying. So that's funny though.
Okay. Yeah. So I just feel like we should like listen to her. You know, she's like, you know, people were talking about the color of the baby is going to be. And I'm sure some people probably thought about Christian and I having a baby. If the baby was going to be as black as me. I mean, today I look ashy, looking like some ashy person, but as black as me or as white as Christian.
Sometimes it's just white people don't know how to phrase that in a way. It's honest curiosity. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I wonder what the baby's gonna look like. Is it gonna be dark? Is it gonna be light? Is it gonna be like mixed? I mean, sometimes people. I mean, it's just the words. Now we have no idea what happened. We have no idea if it was used in a derogatory way or a fearful way or a racist way. It could have been someone who's been like, I wonder. You know, I don't know. I have no idea. But I know with us. We had friends who were coming from a real good place in their heart, and they just really want to know. I wonder, was he? Because it could be all the above.
It's curiosity, yes.
With a mixed baby, you can go from complete bright to like their baby. Their baby looks pretty white.
Yes, the skin. Yeah. So basically, that's what the situation was, and I just felt like we should listen. Whatever situation people had with her, I just feel like sometimes when we come out as Black people to say that. Sorry, read
you
that.
You get distracted. I'll look at this.
Okay.
You focus on that.
You know, when we come out to say that we are something is happening in terms of we are being racially profiled, I just feel like sometimes white people, and I would say sometimes some white people just want to have their own opinion. I just feel like sometimes people just have to listen. You know, sometimes we actually telling the truth. Sometimes we don't want to speak up. We don't want to even say it because of how people will make us feel. So we keep it to ourselves. So here is a woman who came out and said that she felt like people were questioning who she was as a Black woman. And yet we are not giving her the chance to listen. And some people were saying because she's rich, you know, online people are saying, here she is, she's from the royal family, and now she's talking about this. It's what I heard also is wrong timing because of pandemic. I didn't know just because of pandemic, people cannot come out and say if they're being racially profiled. That is the part I don't understand. Yes, there's pandemic, people are struggling, but it shouldn't belittle anybody to speak up, regardless of your wealth.
Yeah, I think so. So the key in all this is that so Anastasia and I have been going back and forth on this, is that it's people lose a lot of empathy for anyone who is in a very privileged position. Now I know race adds a big complexity to this whole situation, of course. However, anytime you're dealing with royalty, anytime you're dealing with someone who can just leave a royal family and all of a sudden score $1 million Netflix deal, the world is going to not have as much empathy for you. So therefore, there are mountains to there are fights to fight, and especially for equality and to understand the plight, how it's different for her situation as a Black woman is very different from a lot of the situations. So, however, it's going to be difficult to bring the rest of the world along with you when you are royalty, or when you're in a very privileged position where you are getting lots of money, and you can just leave a royal family and you're not out on the streets. They're going to do extremely well for the rest of their lives. I think they scored 2 huge deals already, plus book deals. Speaking engagements will at least get $60,000 per speaking engagement, if not more. So, I mean, but you didn't really seem to feel me when I presented that part of, because she was wondering why am I not hearing more people with the empathic ears that I'm hearing are mostly from people of color. The white folks out there who are commenting on this seem to be lost all empathy for this. And I'm not excusing their lack of empathy, but I will say in this situation, it's going to be harder to pull folks in to say, can you have empathy for this woman? They're going to be like, she is a princess who decided to leave a firm that she knew was going to be very archaic. It's the firm. They're archaic. They were colonizers. They are not going to use right language, right words when they're talking about race. And so when they say like she should have known what she was getting herself into, for me personally, when she said I didn't do my research to Oprah, I was like, she did her research. Meghan's a very bright woman, so she did her research. So that was part where I think, again, people are gonna be like, what do you mean you didn't do your research? Like you went to Northwestern, one of the greatest universities in the country, and you didn't know what you're getting yourself into, especially after your husband told all these stories about what happened to his mother and she was white, you know?
Yeah, but I think because, and that also brings me back to this point as in, yes, she's wealthy. Yes, she's from the royal family. She's still considered a family. That still should not belittle that she's a Black woman and she's being racially profiled. We cannot take that away from her. And people want to just look at the wealth and she's rich, you know, she made all this deal. She should be okay. That doesn't mean anything. What it does to you as a Black woman. And then I gave Christian an example. I said to Christian, I said, when we moved to Florida, I did my research on Florida, where we are living, the little town that we are living. I did my research. And then I found out that I was majority white, right? Somebody would have said, and some of my friends, they tell me, are you sure you really want to move there? Because we all know how it is when you're actually among a lot of white people when you are Black. I did my research, but I still came. And then my first year was horrible for me because I felt like that was the first time in my entire life I felt Black. Like there's difference between when someone says you are Black than when you actually live in and every day you wake up and you just feel so Black. I don't know, there's a mental thing that comes with it. So she could have done all her research she could have, or even if she didn't do whatever the situation is, she went into it and it was so bad for her that she decided to leave. And
can we just pause for a second? And let's go back to your example. Your year that was very challenging. Not a lot of people would know that, because not a lot of them, most of them were not Black. So they wouldn't even understand why it would be so Black, because there wasn't overt racism. There weren't these issues. So there becomes a separation too, this idea of looking through a white lens and we're looking through a Black lens. We live in a place where a lot of people say it's one of the greatest places to live. Well, everyone says here, it's the greatest place, the greatest place, greatest place. If you're looking through a particular lens. Now, as a person of color, very different story when you talk to someone who's a person of color living where we live. So for you, is that so I guess the similarity I want to make with Meghan is that folks, the why people of color can immediately know that, yeah, things were messed up, things were bad. I understand the suicidal tendencies. I understand all that because I know what it's like to be a person of color living in a white world or in a place that's not been open or accepting of equality. White, like the British royalty. And so they'll be like, well, what was a really big issue? So they made a couple bad comments. That's not the issue. Like you're saying, you never felt more Black than ever before than once you moved here. And that wears on you psychologically. And then people make comments and then some overt racism happens and it just pops. And so you're saying we can't just sit there and rag on Meghan because you don't know what it was like to walk in her shoes. And especially as a Black woman, you don't know what it's like to walk in her shoes her whole life.
And I don't, and again, I'm not excusing what is happening to her. All I'm saying that sometimes I just feel like we should listen. That's all I'm saying. Whatever. And then I feel like a lot of white people just like to take the racism part out. Christian, you made it very nice. Yes.
Joa Smith.
Yes. No, that's true. What they did to him, Harry's mom. And then if you watch the interview, Harry actually did say they were able to get a security from the mother, the money that the mother saved, not from the queen, from the money that her mother's left for them, her kids.
Yeah, but
no, I'm just saying.
But it just they're fine,
but
and they're going to be
they will
fine.
Forever be fine.
They're going to be fine. And so now there's an interesting comment that someone brought up here that they said that I'm not sure that she ever lived as a Black woman. So this brings up a comment that I'm not. So there's a phrase out there that I don't want to use. That hopefully it's not. I don't think it's derogatory. Well, I said it yesterday. That someone presents white.
Yeah, that was also.
So people, I think that's like a socially acceptable thing of saying, because I heard that from a friend of mine who's Latino. He says, I present white. So people assume because of the way he talks, the way he looks, he's white, he's Latino. And so therefore he is not going to experience some of the prejudice or racism that happens just based on sight. Right.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. So Meghan, I think some people are saying here that Meghan didn't really experience the fullness of that because sometimes until she tells you about her background, you wouldn't know.
I see that also brings me back to my point then. Whether some Black people actually, they say that she never experienced she never lived a Black life. Let's even go back to our own Black people that actually were saying that online and everything.
I look like I'm a midget.
That's perfect. Live my life once. But anyway, so even if she never, people claim that she never lived a Black life. I don't know what that meant. I guess like to Christian point, people doesn't look at her and think she's Black just because she doesn't have my skin color. My point is, I don't care what life or how old you are, if you experience racism, even if it's just one day, and you were a person of color. And then we also don't know her life, meaning she probably had lived her life and she was not accepted by either or. We don't know none of that. Just because she hasn't come out to say it doesn't mean we should belittle her feeling. And that's how I come in. To me, everything that we do or project onto people, it causes a lot of mental health. Yet we are in a country where mental health, we always talking about mental health and how we should listen to people and how people should get help. She could get all the help she needs. I'm sure she could have even hired someone to live in her house to help her out. The point is she's still living that life. And so we should just listen. That's all I'm saying. And I know some of
Well, I think Miss Peaches brings up MCPH, Miss Peaches says, I feel don't judge her until you've walked in her shoes.
Yes.
And I think that's the whole goal
Yes.
of empathy. Right? And then that's like in the church, the focus, at least for our church, is this empathic muscle that to really be a person of faith is to try to live in someone else's shoes and never assume that you know what it's like to live in their shoes. Now, from the outside, that's where our empathy muscle, or at least I can't speak for you, but for folks that I see online, is because she has such a quote unquote privileged life, because financially she's set. She was set before.
Does that make you less of a Black person?
I can't comment on that.
Okay.
So no.
See,
so
okay.
I'm not going to even put my toe in that question. All I'm going to say is that because of her life has been, she made it an industry that's extremely competitive. Mm-hmm. She made it in Hollywood. She had a consistent job in Hollywood. She was doing well. She's a beautiful woman. I mean, all these things are going for her. Then to come out and be like, I felt like I was a victim of this, and that. You're gonna be like, come on. Like, I really, it's hard for me to feel bad for you because
to me, that's just, especially if it's from white people. It just makes me feel like you just want to throw everything about racism out. That's the problem. We don't want to face racism conversation. So we are looking at everything else and not focus on her being, I don't care how rich she is. She'll be as rich as Oprah. If she's feeling racism, we need to just listen.
Okay, but so here's the difference between, do you think that she could have presented it in a more strategic fashion as opposed to, there's part of me, it's like, in that I just wish that.
Can you guys see he's like really struggling trying to say the correct words?
Well, because when you present these hot topics publicly and in the church, it's like you always got to think about it strategically, because you're trying to hit this whole spectrum. You're trying to get the biggest bang for your buck. And if you take a certain way, you're only going to get some people involved. But you want to get everyone encouraged. You want to get everyone's heart. You want to get everyone's empathy muscle going. And so could she have had a PR department that could have said, now, Meghan, I want you to really approach it this way, because we want to get the biggest bang for a buck. And especially if she's looking for the reason why she's doing this. You said, so that always gets back, why do they do this? Did they do this because they wanted to set the record straight? Did they do this because they really wanted to shine light that we're not there yet from an equal society on looking at issues of race? Is that what it is? Because race only played a little part of this. I mean, a big part, but there was other going on.
Yes, she had a mental issue as well.
Not mental issue, but just the idea of when you go into a royal family, like she said, or he said about his brother and Kate, like you're locked in, you're stuck, you're imprisoned in a way.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know, I only watched the first 3 episodes of The Crown. That doesn't look like a life that I would want at all, right? You might be able to roll around a Rolls Royce, but everything you say, you do, you are married to the crown before your spouse. You're married to the crown before your family. You're married to the crown before your kids. You're married to the crown before your own life. Everything is about them. They control your brand. So that alone, whether you're white, black, or a giraffe, would make you want to be like, I'm not down for that, especially since they have plan B. Their plan B, C, and D is really good. Their plan B or C or D is better than most people ever.
Yeah, it doesn't, yes.
So they can tap out and then throw racism into that, which is going to happen in an archaic royal institution that spent most of its time colonizing people of color. That's not a place you want to be if you're trying to live in a 21st century understanding and a more humane way and godly way of looking at each other. So it totally makes sense that they just tap out, but they're also kind of privileged. Most people living in a broken system of racism and all that don't have a chance to just say, hey guys, we can leave because we got a $50 million deal waiting for us in Netflix. That's where the lack of empathy comes. Most people are like, I work for a racist institution or I live in a racist institution. There's nothing I can do. I got 3 kids. I got a sick mom. I got to work here. I got to show up every single day to the system and deal with these.
But does that make it right? If the answer is no, then she's okay. Does that make it right? Because just because
no, that makes it right. It's just I'm talking about the empathy. I'm getting back to the empathy muscle.
But
she's not the one that I think a lot of people say. Let's build a case on Meghan Markle about how do we fight institutional racism.
She's rich.
Huh?
Because she's wealthy from the royal family.
Because she doesn't have to do anything. She has the freedom to leave a racist and broken institution. Most people do not have the freedom to do that. They have to fight. And so she experienced things, I believe it can lead you to depression. It can lead you to suicidal tendencies. All that is very real. All that is very real. But she can also say, I can get the best psychiatrist. I can get the best psychologist. I can get the best lawyers. And I can also leave and go somewhere else.
And not speak. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying the reason, I'm not saying she shouldn't speak. I'm going back to my whole point is why do you see a lack of empathy from folks? And unfortunately, most of the empathy is from the white side. Right? You don't have a lot of whites being like, hey, let's listen to what a black woman was going through on this. But I think so it's just I'm trying to explain why the empathy card has been so lacking. Because most people
it's lacking because she's from the royal family. And then to your point, she could go on Netflix, she could go on Amazon Prime, she could go anywhere and get any deal that she wants. She will make it. But that's belittling the black experience, meaning just because you can make it doesn't mean you can't speak up about what you are facing. And I think that's what makes it wrong in a sense that just because she can make it, just because she can leave and be in her own bubble and never deal with humanity again, doesn't mean she can't speak up. And that's what people keep forgetting. We need to throw away the fact that she's rich, the fact that she's wealthy. That shouldn't make her less of being racially profiled than me.
No, I understand that. You know what as I mean? A white man, I am my muscle and my awareness and the pain, the way that it hits you when Meghan says she was driven to suicidal tendencies or ideations.
Yes, that was
so when you as a black woman can be like, I get that. I mean, you've never voiced that, but just like you understand the pain of a black woman in any kind of place,
and even
surrounded by
mental health in general.
Yes, so
mental health in general.
That strikes you in a way that Christian Anderson, even though I'm trying to live an empathetic life and live a life that Jesus teaches me to live, there's still a way where I just don't get it because I'm a white dude.
No,
I've lived a pretty privileged life.
And I understand that.
So
and that's
you say, wow, there's someone who's experiencing that kind of brokenness. Yes. You don't want to say I belittle you at all.
And also for me, my question also to most of the white people that actually are having issues with Meghan's situation and not having any empathy, even if they don't want to talk about race, even if which I think is crazy and I think it's something that we all need to talk about, even if they don't want to talk about race, I just feel like, how about when she mentioned she wanted to end it? if we don't know anything as African, I didn't know a lot about mental health until I came to America, meaning Americans are very advanced in mental health institution. So if someone comes out and say, I wanted to end it, can we just listen to that? We are like waiting until, God forbid, something happens to her. Then Americans and as foreigners or England, whatever, we jump on and say, oh my goodness, we didn't know it was this bad. We should have helped her. She's crying for help. And we never knew. But now here is someone who was crying for help to a point where her mental health was in a stake that she had to leave. But yet we are not listening. But we want to also advocate on mental health problems. To me, we can't just eliminate one person. Wait, sorry. You could tell Anastasia who to look out for. But sorry, let me finish this record. Yeah, so I just feel like even if you don't believe in anything, even if you think Meghan is lying, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Once someone comes out and say, I wanted to end my life, to me, even if as a person here, if anybody that, whether it was a friend of mine, we don't talk anymore, calls me and say they are having suicidal ideation or they want to end something, I will reach out, regardless of how much.
Okay, but okay. So the issue here, I think it's so funny that I look like I'm shorter than you. I think it's great. I think it's great. It's a new way to experience our marriage. No.
It's okay.
Are you going to be comfortable though?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I didn't really mean to. Okay.
Is it better?
Yeah.
It's warm.
That's fine. Oh, look at that. Now we're the same height. So the mental health thing is, again, she just said, your issue is that people are dismissing it a little bit.
They're dismissing everything.
But let's keep it fair. Mm-hmm. Most celebrities or people of high privileged status, when it comes to social status and it comes to mental, I deal with people all day as a priest who can't even get insurance to take care of their suicidal tendencies, who are in such depression they can't get out of bed and they can't afford a psychologist, and we're trying to underwrite them to get to a psychologist, but there's not enough psychologists to go around, and so they're just sitting in the room. So a lot of people know people in that situation or who are worked in the front lines. So when a celebrity comes out and is like, I'm having suicide ideations, be like, cool, you can go wherever you want and get that phone call and go in there right now, go get help. So and with great status and with great celebrity, the empathy card does go down because you have access to such great resources.
Celebrities?
And you made the choice. That's what it gets back to. You join the firm.
It doesn't.
The firm is not happy-go-lucky, fun prince stuff. It's not. And so it got real, and it's an archaic institution, and you have the resources to deal with it. So I think that's where most people are going to be like,
I get it.
And now you go on Oprah to talk about it.
But how many celebrities do we know that are rich, that have passed away due to suicide? And they had every money they have to get the help. So people keep also making it seem like just, one thing that I learned, I would say.
Do you hear me on that topic, though?
Yes, I understand.
So do you understand it?
I understand where you're coming from. But what I'm also saying is just because someone is rich and they can afford any mental psychologist, psychiatrist, doesn't mean that they cannot speak up about what they are going through. And if we go back to what you are saying, that means because she can afford it, she shouldn't speak up. She should just go for the help. Not for what you say.
No, but she was able to do what many people would love to do. She left, and good for them.
Yes.
They love each other tremendously.
Yes.
He chose wife over the crown.
Yes.
And and for all of you who watch the Netflix special, you always choose the crown. So he said no, because I saw what happened to my mom. That's not going to happen to the second woman in my life, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, we're going to tap out again, though. So good for them. They can make that choice. Most people in the world don't have that freedom to just say, I'm going to leave a multi-million-dollar opportunity because I have more millions of dollars and more social capital over there.
That's what I'm saying. That still doesn't make it right. Just because someone cannot leave doesn't mean someone who can leave cannot speak up.
Okay, so why do people have issue with her Oprah thing? Because she put it on blast.
A lot of white people have that problem. Because they refuse to understand.
But why do you think she went and she put him on blast? Because she's trying to change an archaic institution.
Did you see the Queen's letter that just came out today?
No, but what do you think Meghan and Harry's objective was?
She wanted them to understand that all the tabloids that were going out about her, about how she was treating Kate, about how she was treating Kate's children, about her wedding, about how she was treating all these people were not true. She has not spoken up about it. for so long that that's what gave the white people that opportunity. I'm sorry, the white people that opportunity to bash her so many times because of everything that was going on, and that's why whatever his
So what do you think her purpose was? Because this
to
was
let
to the
people
core of it.
understand
Okay.
that mental health issue is there, and because
Do you think
someone
that was the purpose of her Oprah interview?
why did you think she left? Because of racial?
No.
Yes.
What was the, so this is where anytime you go in Oprah,
the purpose
it's
was
all about
she
you.
talked about it.
And since they're royal and they're Hollywood, people are going to be like, it's some more stuff about you, because that's how, I mean, listen, I worked in Hollywood. It's just like, we're pretty, before I found Jesus, I was a pretty self-infatuated guy, right? I love me some me, right? So now they're gonna be like, so no, why the Oprah? Why not just leave? Why go on?
Why not?
I know, I am not, this is not a rhetorical question. This is a real question, because I think it'll help everyone understand, at least white people, like was she going for social change? Was it like, I need to this institution needs to change, and people need to realize that it's if it's demoralizing me and leading me to suicidal ideations, guess what it's probably doing at some other institutions, like colleges, universities, at just the store? Or was it because we need to protect our name? Everyone's bashing me and making me look terrible, and I'm not going to sit here and be quiet.
I think it's both. I think it's both, in a sense that when just hearing a lot of people coming out to say that hearing someone who is that wealthy and being treated that way, make them understand, oh my God, if I'm not poor, I'm not being treated this way because I'm poor. Even rich person can be racially profiled.
Yeah.
So that, I think she's actually going by that way. And also the fact that the queen also came out to actually let them know that if this was happening, because Harry did say in his interview, it wasn't his grandmother or his father. So the queen came out and said that since after the interview, what they did, they are looking into it. I'm just saying that.
So do you think that was her objective?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was both. I think it was both that you described. I think it was a little bit
because
of both.
You could do like, you could always just leave and then pen a letter to the New York Times
white people are
or the New Yorker.
White people are, I think some white people are jealous. Can I use the word jealous? That she's actually making that money from Oprah, because if she had released a statement without making money.
She's not making any money from Oprah.
And it will give her still deals. I'm just saying.
Well, so that's where the people say, come on. So now you're going to use.
Can we make some money to white people? Can we make some money to white people?
No, but Meghan is making more money than 90% of the white people in this country.
Yeah, but more white people are making money.
And if she would have stayed with the royal family, she'd be making more money than most.
Yeah, but she can't take it.
I know. Okay, so here's the thing. That I think the issue is what I've learned. And I know that I saw Zilia on here who said something like that. Did Anastasia feel that at the church that her race was held against her? And I'll let you speak for yourself, but I don't think that. I think it's just the experience of being in an all-white community. It was the first time in your life.
Yes, it's the experience.
That alone, I think that's part of the issue of that, where whites, we miss the understanding of what it means to be black. It's not just racism or overt racism. It's the idea that you are a lot of times the only person of color in a room or in a community where no one really understands what it's like for you, and that what that experience is. Like, everyone's equal. We're just all good. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do what you got to do. That's really easy for a white person when you're surrounded by a country or a community that really makes things for white people, right? We shouldn't have to have a Black History Month. It should just be, we should be at a place where we feel like it's being celebrated and we're all equal, but we're not there yet. So we have to remind ourselves for a whole month to say, hey, let's talk about all the good things that Black people have done and contribute to our society, because if we don't, it will all be about white people a lot of times. So for you and for Meghan and for others, it's just a constant reminder, especially when you go into a majority white community. There's an experience that you have that we have no idea for, because it's just the normalcy in our country, at least, is white. That's a normalcy. And so any times that like a Black does more than that, it's like, oh wow, we need to point that out, because that's just not normal. And so we're not there yet. And so Meghan was experiencing that. Yes. And even though it was in a very privileged position, she still experienced a lot of the darkness.
Like somebody just said, why am I talking about money? I wasn't talking about money. It's just that most of the time, the things that I've read from a lot of the white, and I'm sorry, I mean, y'all know I'm still married to a white man, but I'll let my white people know. Sometimes white people will still focus on the money that she's going to make and the deals and the That's why I said, so if, let's say she was even getting paid by Oprah, which she's not, but if she was, so what? The point is, can we focus on the message that is being delivered? The point of her thinking about ending it, her talking about being racial, whatever it is. If Christian, let's say, I don't know how to say that word well, hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
If Christian was married to a white woman, nobody would have ever asked Christian, how would your child look like?
Oh, right. No, I know where you're going with this. This is good. This is good. Yeah.
Nobody would have asked Christian, oh my God, I wonder how your child will look like. But yet when it's us, they are all waiting to see how the child will look like. Okay. Oh, is the child going to be black? Is he going to be white? How about congratulations? The same way we would say to white people. Maybe we should start from there. Congratulations. I'm so excited for your baby. You say that to white people. Why can't you just say that to us? Because to me, you are anxiously, and I'm going to tell you guys, and I don't think I've ever even said this to Christian. I was very anxious in the beginning what Kwame was going to look like because I wasn't sure how he was going to be portrayed. And that is my issue. So as a black woman, and if black people really even think that Meghan didn't live the black life, whatever the situation is, even just being pregnant and every single month for 9 months, you are anxiously waiting to see what your child is going to look like. Is your child going to be black? I mean, you have to get to a point where you are so strong to say, if my child turned out to be like me, I'm still beautiful anyway. You know what I mean? So these are things that I feel like white people don't.
That narrative never goes through a white person's head.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that mental wear and tear that if whites had to do that, we would be in mental institutions because we'd be so full of anxiety. So that, again, walking in the footsteps of a person of color, I can only speak in this country. That's why we're not there yet. And we have to keep on doing this work. We can't just say racism's over. It's not. And I agree with you. We haven't even begun to talk out loud about these things, about what it means for Kwame that his real name is Christian. And so the reality is that his name could lead to him being judged and perceived in different directions by just a teacher reading his name, right?
Yeah.
And so does it behoove him to even have that thought in your head? Does it behoove him that actually you should say his name is Christian, because that will reduce any kind of misperception? That's crazy. That's sick that even as a parent to even have that go through your head, because you should say, gosh darn it, no way. You are who you are and be proud of it. And we have to bulldoze through the chaos. But that's not where we're at yet as a country. And then also he's going to be a man of color. And we haven't even talked about that, which we will at some point, about do we get concerned as a parent, as all parents who have a child of color, whether they're white parents, black parents, him driving around. I mean, these things go through. We're not there yet. The misperception of what it means to be a person of color, whites, we have no idea. I don't worry about that, right? I don't worry about that with my name. I don't worry about any of that stuff. I don't have that anxiety. I have other anxieties. I don't have that anxiety weighing on me every single day. And then be a parent like Meghan about her child in an institution that is not holding the torch for racial equality anytime soon. That's gonna, So at the end of the day, well, whether she has 18 zeros after her paycheck or not, she's still a mother who loves her child and is in a situation that is not really.
No money can pay for that. No money can pay for the love that you have for your child. So whether she was being paid, whether she's making deals, whether she's not making deals, the point is the lady was struggling with mental health issues. It got to that bad. Christian could attest to how many times I cried in this house, just feeling how black I was. And this is not someone telling me, oh, your child is black or anything like that. It's just being around so many white people and the perception that people already have of black people. And also me having an accent as an African person, even trying to open my mouth, I was a little afraid because I felt like people were going to judge me and not even listen to my point of view. And so I think that's why I take her situation really seriously, because I just feel like sometimes we just have to listen. If anything and this investigation comes out and it's wrong, so be it. But sometimes when it comes to mental issues, just let's listen. If a black person who is married to a white man and her husband decides to leave, this man is royal. He did not have to leave. He could have said, go, I'll pay child support, I'll be with you. But he decided to stick with her. And that should also tell you how bad it was to that point. So I don't know why so many people are
and also witnessed, because the British society is a very classist-based society. And since his mother came in as someone who was viewed as a lower class, how she was ostracized and what happened with that, then imagine then also coming in as a woman who's an American, and then also as a person of color. So listen, we are in, this is, for me as a person of faith, this is the thing that God has put on our plate here on earth, is how are we going to deal with race to finally get to a place where we can create the structures and a way of fellowship where we can finally see each other as equal children of God. We're not there yet, and we're on the front lines, all of us. We're all doing the work. There's going to be so much pain, and I will say that people of color are going to be taking 85 times more pain than the whites, because we just don't have that daily experience. And so therefore it takes a lot of listening. It takes a lot of allyship. It takes a lot of just trying to walk in each other's shoes and understand. Good conversation. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. And regardless of how wealthy someone is, I just feel like we should just listen. We should have empathy for the human race. Now, I made a joke to one of my friends saying, if Harry had come out and said that Meghan had treated, or somebody had treated their dog badly, you would have seen how many white people would have jumped on it to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe Meghan treated that dog and that cat that way. What? No way.
People love their animals, man.
So how about we have that empathy? Okay, if you are a dog lover, animal lover, I understand. Okay, if you have all that love, can you have that love for human race as well? Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So this was a challenging one, I think. It doesn't have to be a challenging one, but I think what we're trying to get to is that the empathy card was not as strong as it has been in other cases, because of the amount of money and influence and celebrity that is there. And also going on Oprah. Anytime you go on Oprah, people are like, what are you up to?
So it's jealousy then. It's also jealousy. It has to be jealousy, because if it wasn't Oprah,
it could come across as being tacky for anyone.
What's tacky? Why is it tacky? Oprah is big, so that means it's jealousy. They're jealous that
you're putting all your laundry out there. But if Meghan and Harry are doing that for a reason, because that's the best way to affect change and also to protect their name, I mean, because it's pretty vulnerable to put it all out there as well. So
Linda, no, I did say that. I said because she's rich shouldn't belittle her what she has to say. I'm just saying that she's very successful, but just because she's that way doesn't mean that she's not facing racism, and so we should just listen. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that she's not successful, and no, she's successful, she's well educated, but yet she's still going through this. And some people always make it seem like when you are successful, you don't deal with this racist stuff as a woman of color. No, every one of us deal with it. The fact that you're a woman of color. That's all I'm saying. And someone did ask about Kwame. It's not a nickname. We named Kwame because he was born on a Saturday, and that is the male name for Saturday born in Ghana. So we just we named him
That's his
Kwame.
Ghanaian name. That's his Ghanaian name.
Yeah.
So he goes by Christian.
But nobody better tempt him talking about that racial stuff, because I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of work. And like, we're looking at the comments, and a lot of you guys, some of you guys like totally disagree, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And Crystal, tacky because Oprah's black. No, I think any kind of talk show you go on there, that's not where I was going with tacky. Just going on and airing your laundry on a talk show can come across that way when you're dealing with a real heavy topic. But again, we don't have to agree on that. That's fine if you guys disagree. And then there was someone else who said that at one point I said I was referring to blacks, and I said the black. I think that was just. Misspoke. That's not, I wasn't using it as a singular like the black. I was saying blacks with it. So if it came out like I was using a singular in a derogatory or objective fashion, forgive me, that's not what I was saying. I was referring to blacks. I don't even remember what that happened, but I just saw that comment. I wanted to clear it up. So
Kimmy, Monday is Kojo for a man is Monday. But yeah, so I think I am ready, Esther, to take. Don't come to my son with this nonsense, because I'll be there. So we were supposed to be here for 10 minutes, guys. Our lives will never be 10 minutes. It doesn't work. So our son is still sleeping, for those who wanted to know.
But here's a good key, guys, too, with all this. Is that we hear a lot that the love is so key, love is so right. I mean, as people of faith, that's what Jesus comes back to. If it's not about love, it ain't about Jesus, right? So if you ever get religion or faith that's put through a way that does not reflect love, then you know that's being faulty teaching. It always has to be about love. So if you ever hear division or divisiveness or anger or hatred pushed in there, they lost Jesus. So for this, this example that we're using with Meghan and Harry, God bless him, because the whole world's talking about him right now.
Pierre Morgan?
No, Meghan. We didn't even talk about Pierce, but that love did. And it's going to sound like a Hallmark card, but love did. I like to think, from my view, love did conquer. So he chose the love of his wife and the love of his family over the crown. And that's for people. That's not. So a lot of people just got to choose. Like, they got to choose their family, right? So he broke a lot of lineage there. Now I know, again, he has a really good plan B. So let's just say that, but still a big deal for him as a royal person to leave that behind. He basically just said no thank you to his family and chose his wife.
That speaks volume of as a Christian, right? And that's another thing.
But
someone
love,
mentioned that.
You have to go with the love.
Someone mentioned that here too, that I want to pinpoint. If you are Christian and someone comes up to you, regardless of wealth, because a lot of the churches are rich, and talk about their issue, nobody questions these Christians who are rich. I don't know why you're going through this. Oh, you should have known what you're getting yourself into. We still help them out. So how about as Christians together, we help one another and just listen. That's all I'm saying. But it's just that we pick and choose as Christians. I don't know, so we should just listen. They just wanted us to listen. Everybody know that they didn't get paid on Oprah. Everybody knows that. So they just wanted us to listen, just listen. The grandmother came out with information. Just listen to the woman. That's all I'm saying. It is hard to be a Black woman.
That's people. The key. That's the key that you're trying to say. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how privileged you are. I don't care how much royalty behind you. She's a Black woman, and the continued conversation is that the people who are not of color need to continue to listen to what the daily experience is, because folks who I've met and just over the last 4 years, who say racism doesn't exist. They are not bad people. They just need to have their eyes and hearts open, because they truly honestly believe that, wait, everything's good. Like, we're good, but they're just seeing through a white lens where everything is good if you're white. But then to listen and make more friends and good friends and start getting involved with the conversations or whatever it is with people of color who will tell you the truth. Yeah. That it's not the same. And we have Black pastors who we work with, who are leaders of the community, who get pulled over on a monthly basis. Yes. So to hear those stories, as our church gets to hear the stories of our colleagues who are our brothers, we're good, we're great, everything's good with us. But then to hear him say, just so you know, when I wash my boat in my driveway, I at least get 3 cops who come over and say, what are you doing with that boat? They either assume that I'm the cleaner of the boat, or they assume that I'm trying to steal the boat, but they never assume that I own the boat. One of them used to manage a grocery store. Every time we open the grocery store in the morning, they come and be like, what are you doing? He's like, I manage the grocery store, right? So we're to hear these stories helps folks, because again, you're white. You don't experience that. That happens to you once a week, once a month. I don't care, once a year, but if that happens weekly, that's going to wear on you. That you're not accepted, you're not equal, and the only thing that can keep you feeling like you're equal and you're chosen is your faith in God, because God's the one who says, you are my child of God. Yeah,
and I know a lot of people are saying it's hard to be a Black man. Yes, of course. It's hard to be a Black man, definitely, guys. I'm not belittling that at all. I'm not saying it's not hard to be a Black man. It is. It's hard to be Black, period. Period. It's hard to be a Black woman. It's hard to be a Black man. And sometimes we feel like our experiences are not being listened to when we try to share our experiences. And also sometimes white people, we say, we want you to share your experiences, but yet when we share, they want to pick and choose if it's right or wrong. Like make a decision.
But I think in healthy forums, it's good though for there to be so much trust and good relationship going, where Blacks then are also open to the whites talking about their experience. When there's an exchange, there can be a lot of health and healing there that can go back and forth. So tell me about your experience, So there's we have to create the forums for these uncomfortable conversations to happen. And I think as a person of faith, they can happen in places where it's built on trust and respect and the spirit that ties us together. And let me just listen and listen and listen. We have to go to the heart. If we go up here, we're lost. Yeah. If we start with the heart, I can feel your pain and say, tell me about what it's like for you to be the only Black woman. You won't see any other Blacks all day. And what it's like, And it's hard, you go to a store and someone's following you around. Is it because I'm Black, or are they just trying to give me customer service, but they keep on watching me? Whites don't have that. I mean, once in a while I do because I have a guilty conscience, but
Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys, these comments have been great. We can't wait to look through.
Yeah,
Now, Chantel says, when are white people discriminated against? Yeah, not, this is great. So glad. Not that they would tell stories of being discriminated against.
No.
But for instance, so Chantel, we have a group called the Beloved Community at church, right? It's the Episcopal Church has started this thing called the Beloved Community. So we have whites and blacks getting together to share their stories, and we study compassionate communication. So a white woman felt the comfort of what it was like to be the only white person at a black school. And then one time she got, just what that was like. And she was cornered and attacked and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She had the freedom to finally say that to her black brother in that group, and they could find healing. He said, I can understand what that's like. He goes, and that's what I've experienced too. I went to an all-white school as a black man, and they found this unity of healing, and now they have this bond that's incredible. And so that forms this union of now being on the front lines of racial reconciliation. We have to tell each other stories and really hear each other and hear each other's fears. Someone said on here, I just saw someone said, well, it's because of the Americans with all their PC. So now their politically correct stuff came over to England, and now everything's triggered and called racist over here. So now I would want to sit down with you and say, tell me more about that. What's going on underneath that are you fearful of political correctness? What is your concern? And I want to know what's going on in your heart so we can have a conversation about that. I could have my opinion on what you just said, but I want to know more about why. Are you concerned about political correctness? Do you think that's going to derail our society? Because at the end of the day, if a black person tells you they're feeling racism, it's not our job to deny it. It's our job to listen and tell me. No, but this only happens of doing the work.
That's the Ghanaian handshake.
I'm not some super conscious person here. I'm as much
of a loss. That's all I'm saying.
What I've learned in everything is just listen. That's the whole Christian walk, is just listen. And so tell me more about what's going on, because either people of color are lying or they're experiencing racism. So that's the other one. And so for someone to be like, no, I'm just playing the victim. You're looking too much into this, blah, blah, blah. Why would anyone want to play the victim, right? That's this. So there's an issue. So let's listen. Let's get to the core of it. It could have been a misunderstanding. Could have. I don't know. But we're going to listen.
Yeah.
Because no one's been listening for a while.
Yeah. Forever.
There hasn't been a lot of listening.
Forever.
So there's been a lot of questioning and rejection. And it wasn't that long ago where you were, as a person of color in this country, you're only worth 3/5 of a human being. So it wasn't that long ago.
No.
You couldn't vote. You couldn't. It wasn't even legal for you to own property, to go to school, to be literate. You would get fined for that, to vote. I mean, all this stuff, it wasn't that long ago. So we're still working through this complete just chaos. We'll get there. I don't know how long it's going to take, but this is what God's put before us.
The more and that's the thing, the more we talk about it, we wouldn't be here today if Meghan and Harry, and yeah, I know a lot of people were saying that he lost everything. Yes, he decided, he chose to leave everything behind and walk away with his family. Yes, and that's a bold thing to do, especially when he's not from here. He's not from America. He's not used to this world that we live in, but he chose, and the people will say he's rich. I'm not talking about all that. All I'm saying is he still left everything to be with his wife. So we are not saying that he's not also a good person, or we want people to know that. Yeah. So we are actually heading for a whole hour since we've been here, and our child.
Sorry for
guys, our child is waking up. Can you guys see him?
Yeah, greetings from Norway. Hey, Rejoice. What's up, Rejoice? All the way. All right. This is Yvette to other people. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of good questions that we don't want to get. We'll answer on another one, but this is good. All this stuff that is, we will use this for other things that are coming up because you guys are listening to some great comments, and we're just so grateful you guys are all here to be able to talk about these good things. We need to have these conversations. We need to keep on talking about them. We need to get uncomfortable. That's fine. We can disagree. We're going to get there, but have grace. Let's have grace with one another. A lot of it is just, a lot of times it's just closed-mindedness and misunderstanding, and when hearts open, we see new things. We see new ways. But there was a comment where a guy said that, I don't know, it was a guy or a girl who thought that Harry was a beta male for choosing his wife over the family or the worldie. As a Christian, Jesus Christ or Paul calls us to there he is. We'll leave on this. We'll leave on some good words. When Paul says, women be subservient, wives be subservient to your husband, then he also says men, husbands, treat your wife as Jesus treats the church. And how did he do that? What did he do? He died for the church. So you choose your wife and you die for her and your family. So my job is to die for this woman. So if we're in an unhealthy situation, then I choose her. She's my number one, her and God. And so if the family's not working out, I'm sorry, this is my vow. That's the vow. God brought this together. So God ordained it. Let no man pull us under. So we tap out. So Harry made the alpha. He is the tribal leader, and a good alpha leads with his heart and his mind together, and chooses and this is his tribe now. That's his responsibility.
And we didn't even answer the question, the part where people just wanted to know if, let's say, your parents didn't like me, how would it have been? And the crazy thing is, I haven't lived it, so it's very hard for me to like kind of give my opinion, because what Meghan is going through is people actually speculating that the family didn't like her. And so people were asking if Christian didn't like me, I mean, his family didn't like me, how would it have worked? It's hard for me to
we didn't have to cross that bridge.
Because we didn't have to cross the bridge, because as you guys all know, I met Christian through his parents first before Christian and I met. Now, if I was with Christian or dating, and then the person family doesn't like me and the person choose to be with their family instead of me, then it's not meant to be. If they choose to be with their family, then the person and I are not meant to be, and so be it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
You have to go with that.
That's right.
Now, if they choose to be with you, you could try to let your husband or your partner work things through with their family, so things could work out. But if the man chooses to be with your family instead of you, then you move on to the next partner, because maybe it's not meant to be, and they are not ready for this kind of relationship between you and your partner. So
yeah. So can we also just but also say, at the end of the day, we're just two schmoes in Florida commenting on this.
That's it.
We don't live with Meghan.
That's it.
So we're just getting the same information y'all are getting. So everything we're saying is just speculation. It could come out tomorrow that something else that would just, who knows what really is going on. So with the information we're getting, we're just trying to have a sociological conversation about race and mental health. Yeah. But as in support of Harry and Meghan, I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's just more like,
maybe this whole thing's a put on so they could get a Netflix deal. I have no idea. I hope not. All I'm saying is,
love
it
one
starts
another.
A good conversation. We need to have the conversation about race and mental health is a great thing to do. And that in this, what it seems like love did truly was the choice to go
prevail.
If not, I think he would have stayed.
Oh, he would have stayed. Yeah.
Because there's more power there and more money in a way.
Yeah, and then to a lot of people's point of view, we want to end this with, yes, as Christians, we just have to love one another. And if our fellow Christians are struggling with anything, and sometimes they just want us to listen. And so we should be here to listen to them instead of picking and choosing why or why not they are in that situation. That's what we are saying. Just let's listen to one another.
Especially when it's uncomfortable. Especially when you disagree.
Yes.
That's what you do. Say, Holy Spirit, I do not agree with this person. I do not agree at all with them. Actually, I despise. But you call me to listen, and the only way we're going to find healing or reconciliation is through listening. So give me the power, Holy Spirit, to listen. That's where the rubber meets the road, right? Mm-hmm. That's when people think that I'm an idiot, which is often probably, and they want to talk to me about how much of an idiot. My job is to listen, and that's the power of the Holy Spirit, because there's so much of my insecurity that's going to come in and want to defend myself and push back and just say you're stupid, you're lost, you don't get it, blah blah blah. That doesn't do anything. That just causes more division.
It does.
But that's a holy power. To me, you need the Holy Ghost power for that as a person of faith. Because as a human being, I'll fall every time. I'll get defensive. Mm-hmm. I'll get insecure. Mm-hmm. I'll get anxious. And I'm going to be like, screw you, and say, let's not talk ever again. That's not where Jesus is calling us, though. Yeah. And so that's the challenge. This work is gritty. You need patience and grace, and that comes from above. So God bless you all for doing the good work.
If you guys want, leave us a message. Follow us on Instagram.
And can you guys subscribe to the channel?
Have you subscribed?
We're going to get a little selfish here right now. We're going to do our own self-involved thing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like some of this and you want to know what's going on, hit the subscribe button.
Go, 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds. Say it again. Subscribe.
Just subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Instagram thing. Let's keep this conversation
Instagram,
going.
Christian,
we love talking about faith,
and
we like talking about race. We do a lot of other stuff like cooking and family and all that other stuff. But the hot topics, we like to bring it up, not all the time. But we like forming trust with you and learning about you and growing with you and having a forum for this to talk and hearing your comments. We're reading all of them. Trust me, we're reading all of them.
Yes.
It's not a bully pulpit where we just tell you our views.
We read your comments. Next week on Monday, we are actually, you guys leave us a message. Let us know if during the week you want us to do live, because we can do live during the week on a topic that you guys want for like maybe 30 minutes. And then Mondays will be the regular post. Come back here on Monday. Kwame is eating his African food for the first time. So we got to sign up before it hits what, an hour. Babe, close it up. We love you guys.
I love you. Bye. Harry, Meghan, our ankle teeth, just so you know.
I didn't want it to be like 1 point something.
Is it ending?